be content. We must book studios. We must book videographers. We must. So I think the minute you understand your why, if your thing is to make people feel good, then make people feel good. Find a way to do that, one person at a time. And then you'll just, but get patient. Everything requires patience.
You know, when you talk about finding your why, there's also the other side of that, right? Is that people have a strong heart for a specific message.
Yeah.
Or to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And that's all they do.
That's all they do.
And then they grow to 1 million views.
Yeah.
But no money has come in. What are the steps to now actually start monetizing those numbers? Because you get people that start with the intention to make money, and they will do the right things and the brands will start coming. But people who have more numbers, I get into several conversations with some of the creators, and I ask them, like, how much money are you making? Maybe they have double. I mean, currently I'm sitting on like 80,000 TikTok followers, and they'll have double. They'll say, I make this much. I'm like, shucks, I make double that.
Just slightly more than that.
You know, and then you realize that, okay, maybe what is the... So my question to you is, how do we start monetizing the numbers? We've got the numbers now. We've built the numbers, because I think also building the numbers can also be like, it can be a sprint. It's like what you say, people just keep coming and coming and coming. It's like, what is... I mean, I'm currently watching... not watching, I came across... Oh, it's very important I say that.
Jeez.
I came across... there's a guy on TikTok who's doing revenge diaries.
He's gone. And he's been doing that, by the way.
Oh, really?
Been doing that.
I came across it the other day, and then last night I was like, what? Because I hear people saying, you know, when people create content about the other person's content, like I keep thinking of revenge. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I went on to see, oh my God. I was like, he also got on 1 million. And in my mind, I'm like, how do we monetize?
How do we monetize that?
How? Because these are numbers, and these are numbers that are plugged in. So maybe for somebody like that, or for anybody who's got 100,000, 50,000 of people that are engaging completely.
Yeah.
You know, like when I say, for instance, I'll talk for myself. When I say I've got 80,000 followers, I know that I'm averaging over 10K views on and there's proper engagement in their conversation.
Yeah.
If somebody's going through that, how do they monetize that to start bringing the money in to not only just bring the money in, but to then sustain this thing that is happening? Because clearly there's a need for
it. There's a need. You know, it becomes tricky, especially with TikTok.
Yeah.
Because it moves so quickly, and it hasn't reached the proper monetization status that it needs to in South Africa for the level of amount or of content that's being created.
Yeah.
I think it becomes tricky because brands are so specific. There's a certain thing that they need. If you don't drink water in your videos, I can't just...
It's hard.
Because then people are going to be like, and then matey, you know? But if you're able to find a way, and I know this, I'm going to sound like a broken record, honestly, from strategy, because then you know, because he already knows. We know the tools that he uses when he's making these videos.
I love them so much. I saw them last night. I thought,
we know the tools that he uses. We know, we know what kind of conversations are in there. There's so many opportunities for the brands of the products that he uses. There's opportunities for, brands that deal with mental health, for example,
to plug
or
themselves there.
Brands that just deal with, because he's speaking to students. If it's students that are talking in there, there can be something. There's merit in
That's
there.
True.
He's a well-groomed guy.
Yeah.
There's brands that can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very well spoken as well.
Very, very well. And intelligent. Hello.
Amazing storyteller.
Hello.
I thought.
And do you know what he does for a living?
It's a doctor.
He's a doctor. So when you see the content, you're just thinking, so how much opportunity is in there? How many brands can he approach and talk about, whether it's men's health or female health, whatever? He has the tools, he has the knowledge. But if you don't have the background before of why I want to do this, if you want to do it for vibes, vibes. But if you have a plan, then you need to start packaging your content. That's why we spoke about the different types of content that they are. So Sharp, that's his bag. That's what he does. But there's a way, especially now with the traction that it has, there's a way in which he can package this, because there's some elements in there. Sharp, it's fun and it's interesting to learn, and we all have a revenge story here and there. But in there, you just try to you can't help but think of like, wow, I remember that I was pretty broken that day. If it wasn't for XYZ, or if it wasn't for, so and so buying me a certain, beverage, and, taking me to a certain spa or whatever it is, I wouldn't have, And then you can kind of package it, because then he needs to find a way to package it in which brands can see themselves fitting in. I find that creators sometimes create like a lot of content and a lot of traction, but when I show a brand your profile, the brand will ask me, okay, but how do we fit into there? So to just randomly have a bottle there, it's not worth it for us, because what guarantee do we have? Unless he tells you, if he shows up tomorrow and he says, Banyana Bak, we are drinking this water today. Fail. For this whole week, we are drinking this water. That water's going to go. Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen, you remember when, why did I forget her name? When she did with the lotion for the stretch marks.
Yes.
That was not a paid video. She just mentioned it. She just said, this is what they were sold out. They were sold out. And so if brands don't plug into that, or if now you don't be smart enough to be like, hello, from my video, I heard that you were sold out in 2 stores in 1 hour or whatever it is. So you need to find a way to package that. This is where it comes in with equipping yourself with all the different tools and the different members of a team.
Yeah. And if you're not, then get in touch with a strategic person or somebody who understands
to help you
brand,
support that.
So you can start. I really, really like that, because, and I think I remember Grace once filmed like a video showcasing how she plugs different brands into what she does to be able to kind of build that relatability, because I think it's in any business, right? Your customer must see how they can use what you're selling
for sure
in their lives. And if I don't see it, if yes, it's a skin serum, but nini, when,
Kanchan,
good morning, or
and then what did it do?
But if you do a video showing me how you use it in the morning, or how you use it in the evening, or how you use it under your makeup, then I'm like, oh, I can relate with that, and this is what I do. Then I can plug myself in, which I think is very, very important. You said something that I also want to jump into, which is, for instance, the creator we're talking about, how he should be approaching brands, right? And this is a conversation I've heard quite a lot. Is like, should we be approaching brands or should we not?
Should we wait?
And also, when we do, what does that look like, and how do we actually start?
So it becomes quite tricky. A lot of brands, especially the big brands that people really want to go for, would already have agencies in place.
Yes.
So a big challenge that some of the content creators are facing is the gatekeeping, because I have my friends, you have my friends. You know, when the brand calls you, you're like, sure, this is the way to chummy. See on, come this side. So it's becoming very, very difficult. So the long and short of it is really put yourself in touch with the right people, whether it's the right agencies. You have to do your homework enough to know brand X is working with agency Y, because then you approach agency Y to be like, hey, ke batla go sebeletsa XYZ. I saw you guys, and that's just a quick way to kind of get to that. Because if you're gonna send an email to the manager of microphones worldwide, he's not going to get that email. It's going to end up in spam,
or to their Instagram,
to their DMs. You know how many DMs that they have in there. You understand? So I think it's about just understanding those kind of processes and just understanding. So when you research the brand and you start to understand, find the agencies, find what brands they're working for, and just kind of put your feelers out there and just understand the industry. And then, you put together, find a way, somebody that can teach you how to put together a pitch deck, how to put together a media kit. Because if you're just going to send me, hey, Rose, I'm on 10,000 followers. Last week, my video reached 100,000 views. And I'm like,
only one video.
Hello. And I go to your profile and I see selfies. I'm going to ask you questions like, do you eat? Do you go outside? Do you
give us more to work with?
Well, understand. So I think there's a lot of things that are like entailed in that, and the answer is very long-winded. I know that people always expect me to say
yes, no.
Call me at 7:00 and then I'm going to put you in touch with, and it doesn't really, really work like that. It really is just like a lot of things in progress. But this is where like now I'm finding that a lot of people are managing a lot by, by getting managers or signing onto platforms that can assist you with that. But even in there, you're doing the work that can get recognized by said brands. you engage with your content, because I've seen a lot of American TikTokers and even just abroad. Like a huge brand will comment and be like, this is the most hilarious thing. They jump on there.
Yeah.
Immediately
Yeah.
they say to that brand, love it so much. Yeah, ha, ha, ha. And they'll create a follow-up video.
Yeah.
The brand has no choice. Because then the brand they do that. They've sent us a screenshot, be like, yeah, Michelle tagged us the other day. She said she was eating mazimba ale and it was very nice. Or send her a PR package. So it does take a little, but that's why this is where I was saying katabaya patience, and being intentional about your content, because then you're not just going to email people, and you're going to email the right people. You're going to have a good-looking email address. Hello? A good-looking email address.
@gmail.com.
Rose 679